Welcome to Expertsoft. Here is the detailed overview on SAP S4HANA Finance and Controlling.
If you don't
Okay.
have both, then you should have theoretical knowledge, in accounting, like what is debit and what is credit. Majority
Okay.
of the majority of the business transactions we are dealing in FI is related to debit and credit. No,
Right.
ideally, we have to know just which account is coming debit and which account is coming credit. That's it. Based on
Oh,
that, we have to map in the system.
right. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so ideally, if you are having passion and if you are interested to learn that and debit and credit, knowing that it is not much difficulty, as I know that,
Mm-hmm.
only, because accounting principles are everywhere same. If you know this is debit and this is credit, always that is going to be debit and that is going to be credit only. Okay, so there are
Okay.
some golden rules, and if you're having clarity or idea about that, then it is easy for you to understand and go further. And
Okay. Yeah. Thank
conceptually, yeah.
you. Nothing. Yeah. Proceed.
So conceptually, it is like similar procurement to pay cycle when you are talking about. Again, it is having PO, GR, and invoice verification and payment. So, like what accounting entries it has to come. So from the finance side, how this accounting entry is going to be generated, and what is the configuration that we have to set up. Okay, so that is important basically. So having, I mean to say, overall, if you have at least the idea about accounting principles or accounting standards, then it is very easy for you to learn SAP FICO, or
Mhm.
you have to put some more efforts.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Uh, I also have a question. So, if it is an accounting background, so I usually don't have an accounting background, but I have been an HCM consultant for around 2 years.
Okay.
So, do you think that would help me to learn from the basic of FICO?
Yeah, yeah, it will definitely help because whatever accounting standards that we learn in our academic education, so same apply we are, same theory we are applying in SAP. So everywhere, it is not changing basically, but only we have to recollect whatever we have read in our school days, that we are going to apply theoretically and conceptually in SAP.
So, the basic structure what you have shown me at the moment, so those
Mhm.
are all like kind of covered in the HCM module. So, do you
Okay,
think they are the same in the FICO module as well?
exactly same. Only the thing is,
Okay.
it is having integration with other logistics modules. We can say MM and SD and production and project system, all the things. How it is going to be integrated and how important the accounting mapping that we have to do in SAP. So that's it. Like in SCM, payroll, when we are having integration with the finance, we are backend we are setting some GL accounts which are related to payroll. Okay, similar way, it is having integration with MM when we procure something. So there are some accounting entries which are generated by automatically. So no need to give any manual entry by the user. Ideally, majority of the transactions related to integration, all the transactions, accounting entries are updated automatically. Other than those transactions which have been posted by financial accountant manually. Okay, that time, maybe one or two transactions he has to identify what is debit and what is credit. Other than that, majority of the transaction system is taking in the back end, and posting automatically. Even though if you are not having idea what is debit and what is credit, but when it comes to back end, there is only one place you have to assign the GL account. You should know what account you have to assign in that particular place. If you're having that idea, then it is more than enough, because keep on, when you are going to further, then you will understand, okay, this is coming when we assign the GL account here, so this is coming in debit place, this is coming in credit place. So overall, account is going to tally. So that you will keep on learning, slowly go when we go into the system.
Okay, thank you.
So as you are having experience in SAP, I don't think so we need to have some introduction related to SAP, what is SAP and how it is going to be. But as you all know that S4 HANA is now booming in the industry, and they are coming up with different versions every year, on premise and cloud. Quarterly basis they are releasing new versions in the market. So what we are going to cover, at a high level, as you are having experience in SAP. So implementation, you know what is a project, and rollout, enhancement, migrations. So on top of that, basically, first we are going to draw one org structure in implementation project. When we are going to start any project, so the major important aspect is defining the org level units. Okay, what is company code and how many company codes we are going to define. Okay, company code basically it is a legal entity where we are going to take a financial statement end of the month. After completing all business transactions, the company CFO, they have to submit their financials, like balance sheet, profit and loss account. So company code is having that importance for every business transaction which we are going to record. So I mean to say that org structure, we have to define how this org structure is going to define how many plans we are going to define, and what is the link that we do have with the sales organization and GL accounts in all the things. So the way we are going to explain here is, first we will take one real time example. You can take your current business scenario, saying that yes, you are going to implement when it comes to the new rollout or new implementation. So we can assume that, and we can go by defining from the beginning. So org structure we have to define in the beginning. Based on that, we are going to define org units, and we are drawing a blue chart saying that how we are going to derive the financial statement, what is the agenda. Not just like creating company code and posting the transaction. Ideally this will work in everywhere, but what is the purpose of that, where we are going to reach after posting the transaction, what is the report that we have to generate from the system. Okay, there may be different requirements from the business. They want to see external reporting and internal reporting. So there are two different reports where every business looking for. External reporting, when it comes to MIS point of view, so where your financial statement like P&L, balance sheet, that we have to show. Internal reporting is in internally, when they are producing any product or they are selling any product, so which product is giving more profit to them, or which customer or which region customer are more profitable. So that analysis also we are going to see in the system, how this level reporting we can fetch. Okay, other than that, legal entity is a topmost level. Below legal entity, even company, they want to see if they do have different divisions in different locations. Even that level also they want to see the profitability, but ideally this is not for external reporting, that is internal reporting only. So they will see which division is giving more profitability and performance wise. So that all we are going to cover in our scenario, not only basic things. So in that GL, we are going to cover general ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable, bank accounting. Okay, so these have been elaborated here. And if you scroll down here, you can see in bank accounting, basically we do have two different types of reconciliations. One is electronic bank reconciliation and manual bank reconciliation. We are going to cover those two, which is most important in every business nowadays. And asset accounting also is one of the thing which we are going to cover. And here asset accounting, we do you know we can do procurement by creating a purchase order or directly from the finance. So those business scenarios also we are going to cover. And on top of the taxation, how direct taxation and indirect taxation is going to implicate, and when it comes to sales and purchase, what tax code and how that tax configuration to be done. And even integration with So to do this integration with we have to do some basic configuration related to like plans, purchase organization, storage locations, all the things. So that also we are going to cover to complete our integration point. And here we are going to create a different types of materials like raw material, finished materials, and service materials, and semi finished materials. Because when we are going to create different types of materials, so from the finance side, we can create that many GL accounts to trigger, okay, each every material type is hitting to different GL account. So what is the importance of valuation class, that we will understand when we are going to cover integration. Similar to that as the integration, because here also after completing the production, we are going to sell the product to the customer. So sales price is different and material price is different. What how this difference is going to be, update in finance and how profitability we are going to take, what is the gross profit and net profit after adding all your sales related expenses, that we will also cover in this FISD integration. In that again we are going to do some basic SD configuration. Sorry, please stop me if I'm going fast and if you want more clarification. And new GL concept, this is this is also we are going to cover, like document splitting is one of the functionality where we are going to use additional features which is there in FICO. In that we do have different concepts like currency, as you know that in S4HANA we do have 10 currencies, flexibility to maintain for a single company code, but using that many currencies in real time is not required ideally. So three currencies or four currencies is more than enough to complete a business requirement. So these all comes under finance. So we have segregated into two things. One is finance and second one is controlling. Because finance is basically related to your complete integration with MMSD, and external reporting point of view that we are going to cover. And when it comes to controlling it is having internal management reporting, we can say that, where we are having different cost centers and profit centers, internal order, like some workshops where some companies are conducting and how they want to track expenses of those, that we are going to cover. And product costing as well, like when any manufacturing company is there, so if they want to do manufacturing, before starting the production process, first they need to estimate cost of that product. So what is the reason for estimating the product cost is, so they can do the comparison, what is my planned cost and what is the actual. So whatever difference is there, they can do the variance analysis and they can understand, okay, where they are spending more amount or where they are getting some other decision making point of view, they can think on that. So that also we are going to cover in broadcasting, which is majorly in make to stock scenario. And here we do have broadcast by period, broadcast by order scenario. um, then material ledger is one of the critical and typical concept in controlling, where you want to do valuation of your materials into three different currencies. Like when you are creating the material master, you don't have any option to give the currency in the standard, until if you implement material ledger with different currencies, then automatically your inventory is going to evaluate in three different currencies, and you can see the transfer price when you are moving material from one place to another place or one plant to another plant. Ideally the sending plant owner or manager should not send the same material price, he has to add some markup to that. So that is we will call as a transfer price. So how this is going to be covered in material ledger, that we will see. And profitability analysis, this is basically COPA, we will call it as, it is another major topic in controlling. Because in S4 HANA profitability analysis we do have two things, one is accounting based COPA, second one is costing based COPA. SAP suggested to use accounting based COPA. What is accounting based COPA means, every transaction when you are posting in SAP, so there is a financial entry. Okay, it depends on the transaction. Like when you create the PO, you don't have any financial impact. When you create GRN, you do have a financial impact. So what accounting based COPA says, that whenever you do have a financial impact in sales, similar time it is going to update in your COPA. Okay, so 90% of data is coming from to COPA is from SD basically. Okay, sales and distribution. So it is COPA means controlling and PA means profitability analysis. So you have to know the profitability of a specific product. When you are selling, from the procurement to till sale, you will see the complete cost of that specific product, and you can analyze whether this product is profitable or not. So if it is profitable, you will continue, or if it is not profitable, then you will see other alternative way, maybe subcontracting, or you will do trading, like just buying and selling. So for that decision making it will be useful. Okay, or maybe you will do some renovation to that product to get more profit in the market. So that we are going to cover as well. Even in
Sorry
this
to
case we do.
stop you by. So
Yeah.
what could be the product cost of sales whether you have this study of BOM costing? Can you at least brief me about what is BOM costing?
Sorry, can you come again?
Yeah, in the 10th part, there is a
Okay.
product cost by sales order,
Okay.
and I wanted to know a brief about the preliminary costing and the order of BOM costing.
Okay, so yeah, product cost by sales order is until I get order from the customer, I will not do production because I do have a order specific production. Okay, there are two types of productions we do have. One is make to stock, another one is make to order. Make to stock means without specifying any customer requirement, we are producing and customer is coming and buying that product. Best example is like laptops we don't have any customer specific requirement. Okay, we will go to the shop and we will see our features which are meeting and we will buy it. That is make to stock because stock is already there and we are going to select based on our requirement. That is make to stock. In case of product cost by sales order, what is going to happen? There are some specific wheelchairs we can say that are sofa requirement where it is based on the customer requirement, or some other construction company we can say building, what they will say that I want, specification. They will say that I want red color to be, to my house, and I want wood flooring. So that is specifically customer requirement. So first we will take customer requirement. Based on that requirement we will do further processing, we can say production, or manufacturing that product, or constructing that building, or whatever. So that is based on the customer requirement. So we will say here, first customer is placing an order with his own specific requirement, and we are taking that specific requirement. Based on that we are going to do the vendor and buying the material, because we are not keeping any raw material with us, because it is very, again it is cost based. So whenever I do have a order from the customer, then I will see what are the components required, then I will do MRP, material requirement planning. If any raw materials required, then I will go to the buyer, vendor, and I will buy that materials, and I will start the production. After completing the production, I am going to log that specific product to a specific customer, and I am selling to that customer. So that is product cost by sales order. So in this case, based on the sales order, I will do bill of material. Bill of material means what are the components required to complete customer requirement. So we do have a list of components, and we will do cost estimate. So that we will call product cost by sales order. After receiving the order from the customer, we have to do cost estimate. Okay, so that is product cost estimate by sales order. After that, then we will do production and we will sell it. Then once the actual production is completed, then we do the comparison between my planned sales order costing and actual production. Okay, whatever difference is there, that is, again it is going to be variances. There may be different types of variances like input price variances. When you do planning initially, and to complete that product, it is going to take maybe 2 months, 3 months, or 5 months, whatever. By the time your raw material component price is going to increase, your labor price is going to increase, your electricity may increase or decrease. So all parameters are directly impacting your end product, and which are causing your variances. Okay, so that will cover under both, as well as product cost by sales order and product cost by normal order. Clear?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So when you say production,
Hmm.
and usually we don't do anything in the production, right? The changes or anything. So what we do is when we change or anything configuration of the specification that comes from the client is only we do it on the development side, if I'm not wrong. Hello?
There is a lot of background voice is coming. Can you?
Oh, I'm really sorry. Now can you hear me?
Okay.
So if there's any specification from the client or
Okay.
any requirement that needs to be changed for an existing one,
Okay.
so it is very obvious that we do it in the development system.
Right.
So what in the finance, I mean the finance part, what we exactly do in the production. So usually we don't put unless and until we are sure, so we don't add the requirement to the production, right?
You're talking about production system or production department?
Can you brief me what a FICO person will be doing in a production department or a production system?
Okay, see, I'm talking about production departments. We do have different
Okay.
departments like Material Management Department, and Sales and Distribution Department, Production Planning, PP. We will
Mm-hmm.
call as PP
Mm-hmm.
consultant, right?
Okay.
So when PP consultant is going to produce, he is going to do his configuration. What he is going to do, he is creating a production order. Okay.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
what production order he is going to create? Whatever, like if you take car as an example. So
Mm-hmm.
when we are going to implement, okay, BMW car is the client, and we are going to implement for them. So PP consultant is going to take care about the manufacturing of the car. Okay.
Okay.
So to do manufacturing of that car, what PP consultant has to do, he has to take the requirement. What are the components that required to complete one complete BMW car? So maybe
Mm-hmm.
iron is one of the component which he is going to input, and you know rubber, we can say that bolts and nuts example. So
Okay.
all these things we will call them as a bill of material. So bill of material, like example, if you take a tea, when you are preparing a tea, what are the components required? Sugar, tea powder and milk for milk. So all these are the components, we will call that. Okay. So to prepare one cup of tea, you need couple of materials. We will call that as a components. So those are called as bill of materials. To complete one cup of tea, what are the materials that you required? So you are going to have a list of that, and you are going to do planning. Okay, if I want to make one cup of tea, what is the cost that it is going to incur? So that PP consultant is going to do. So to do that, because when he is issuing the components, he is issuing milk, tea powder, and tea powder, whatever. So in that case, there should be a financial entry, because he is consuming the materials and he is getting the final product is tea. So in that case, finance team has to map what accounting entries that it has to generate when he is consuming, and when he is preparing the final product, that is tea. So what is the inventory? Because again, inventory has to update. So that inventory again, it is going to consume when you are selling to the customer. So from the finance side, we have to assign the GL account related to the specific production consultant scenarios.
Okay. Now I get a clear idea. Thank you.
Okay, so production department is different, production system is different. I'm not talking about SAP development quality productions. Those are different systems basically. We went, as you are saying, that if any new requirement is coming from the customer, we are changing that in development and moving to the quality. There, user is doing testing and giving confirmation. Thereafter, we are moving to the production system. So that is completely different. This product costing I'm talking about is production planning, consultant team, similar to our material management, sales and distribution, production planning, also having a consultant who is taking care of the complete product, end product. So in that case, finance team is going to map the GL account related to the inventory, related to the consumption, and there are some indirect activities, like if you take an example of tea, gas also consuming in that, but we don't know the quantity of the gas, how much it is going to consume, and we don't know what is the tissues consuming on this one. So those are indirect cost. So that PP consultant is going to map, and as a finance we are going to map the GL account. Okay.
Okay. So we are only going to map the GL accounts. So we don't
Yeah, we are going to
exactly
map the
deal with
GL
the.
account. Yeah, we are going to map the GL account, and after that, we are going to see how this GL account is going to impact in production, planning, production planning module testing.
Okay. Okay. So
So I mean to
basically,
say,
when
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
So in this case, we have to do basic configuration of MM. basic configuration of SD, basic configuration of PP to complete our integration with all the modules.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So production planning, this is another module where we are like, after selling product to the customer, we have to know which customer is profitable to the organization and which area they are selling. If they are selling their product in different regions, north region, south region, western, southern regions, different regions are there. So they have to identify, which region customers are more interested towards our product. Okay, then they will analyze that and they will get, more focus into that specific area, and they will try to increase more sales in that. So in that case, our copa is going to help. These are all are the sub modules basically. In that, copa is one of the main module, and controlling product costing is another main module, and material ledger also is one of the critical module. Again, it depends on you how you are going to choose. Are you going to choose finance only, or are you going to choose controlling, or you want to mix it up both basically? So that we will see. And here we do have copa planning also, like it is similar to sales planning. When you are, initially every organization is having their own planning strategy. Without planning, not even a single organization will perform directly actuals. So first they have to do planning. After the, based on the planning, they will do actuals, and they will do the comparison, and they will do based on that. This planning we will call it as a forecasting also. Forecasting also we will call this as. That also we are going to see basically. Even copa valuations, how it is going to be, and different, in S4HANA theory we have to use for all business transactions, whereas configuration we are going to use SPRO only. For the transaction level, we are going to use theory applications to post a certain transactions. Maybe, same transaction codes are applicable, but couple of transaction codes are going to change, and the feel look is different. That also we are going to see how, we have to use Fiori applications, and how we have to change the logon pad, screens, favorites, and everything that we will see. And if you want to add any new role to the existing user ID, how you have to find out the role ID, and how you have to identify the object, authorization object. Because when you are trying to assign a role, or any user is having any issue because of authorization, first we have to identify the object. So that we will see at high level. And after that, cutover, strategy related, how this cutover strategy is going to be planned. When you are going to start fresh implementation, what are the, parameters that we need to consider in terms of master data, in terms of transaction data, how we are going to upload, like GL, accounts payable open items, accounts receivable open items, asset accounting open items, all those things. And other thing is month end closing activities. So this is one of the important thing for every FSO consultant to know, what are the month end activities and year end activities to perform, and what is the impact of that. That we will see that. So this is overall, course content. And anyone having any questions or anything to get clarity, please let me know.
Can you once show me the controlling part, please?
So this is controlling.
So, as a FICO consultant, do is it required to learn adapt then? So, if there's any change that needs to be done at the programming level?
No, programming level we don't. We are not going to do any changes, but there are some theory, what you say, query where you can write that knowledge. That is basic knowledge. Other than that, programming knowledge is not required for FSO consultant. Clear? So these are the controlling other content.
So we want to deal with the cost centers also, right?
Yeah, cost center and profit center. Yes, we are going to deal with that. Because even finance also basic controlling, see there are two options. If you are going with finance, and we are covering majorly finance, and at high level controlling like cost center, profit center, anyway we have to do it, but we are not going to cover fraud costing, material ledger and controlling. And if you want to take controlling, then we are focusing on controlling, and we are not going to cover complete finance, because finance is again having bank reconciliation statement, banking, other parts that we are not going to cover. So it is depends. Either you can go with finance or controlling, or if you want to go with both, that is also fine. It is up to you, because having experience in one area theoretically or thoroughly, in-depth experience is better. So if you're having, initially you can start with one sub-module, I mean finance or controlling, then later you can, expand your knowledge into different vertical.
So I will ask you a suggestion now. Since I am a HCM consultant previously,
Sorry,
so
sorry.
previously I was a HCM consultant where I have
Okay.
dealt with few of the topics which you have covered in the finance. So do you
Uh-huh.
think do they vary at the configuration level or they are same?
No configuration. What you were saying that? Sorry,
Do they vary at the configuration level or they are just the same?
no configuration. It is different actually. HCM is completely different. See, because
Okay.
HCM is completely different from the finance FIA side. So which is having completely independent. So because in HCM we are having one or two steps which is linked to finance, but when it comes to finance, we do have complete setup related to company code, complete setup related to integration and everything. Okay, there is no relation or link between these two completely. It is completely independent modules.
Okay. Okay. I'm good with it. I have no other questions.
Okay, so anyone having any concerns or any questions to ask to get clarity? Everything is good.
Hi, I'm Anuj here.
Yeah, hi.
Uh, Still, I'm working in sales and marketing field with the manufacturing industry since 6 years.
Okay.
So I have experience in sales and marketing. So, which model will be actually good for me? I'm a engineering graduate. I don't
So
have
you
any
are having
background with.
uh,
I don't have any experience with. I have a knowledge of how it will works, how debit and credit, because I'm working in that field only. But I don't have a background, study background in that. But I working with the sales and marketing. I have a knowledge about that.
okay.
So which one would be really fit for me, like the SD or FICO? It's completely new for me. SAP is completely new. I'm working with the field, but don't have this SAP work experience.
Okay, see, if you are having the sales and marketing experience, then you can easily understand sales and distribution SD module. Okay, that is
Yeah,
one of the module in SAP where you can easily understand what is sales order, what is delivery, different types of. You are already dealing with different types of people and doing marketing, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
for you it is easy to understand and to get into that in SAP SD module.
Okay. So yeah, even I'm from an engineering background. That is the one thing. I don't have any experience with this finance or accounting.
Yeah, because if you are having experience in accounting, SAP FI is good. If you are not having
Okay.
accounting experience, but if you have accounting, academic
Background.
background,
Yeah.
then you can learn SAP FI. If you don't have these two, and
Yeah.
then if you are trying to learn SAP, maybe you should have some other module experience in the past. Okay, then that will
Okay.
cover. You can say that, okay, I was having LG experience or experience. Then I'm keen to learn finance. That way you can convey without having any
Okay.
experience. And if you try to learn FICO, majority of the companies, they will first try to see your background, whether you are having
Okay.
accounting experience or accounting education, whatever. So in that case, it is bit difficult basically. But in your
Yeah, got
case,
it.
SD,
Yeah.
yeah, SD is better choice.
So since I don't have SAP knowledge and since I don't have any finance and accounting knowledge, it will be difficult to learn both at a time.
Right.
Thank you.
Even companies also will say that, you don't have any experience, and how come you learned SAP, FICO? And they will ask, there are some companies where they will try to get your, accounting skills. They will ask you some couple of questions related to accounting, like what is debit, what is credit, instead of that. So that will
Yeah,
also
basic
happen.
knowledge I have because I'm working with that accounts team also, but not in depth knowledge about that. Basic just
Hmm.
debit knowledge, entry, credit, and payment collection. That basic knowledge I have, but not academic knowledge.
Yeah, my recommendation is SD only, because that is
This conference will now be recorded.
No, I don't have SAP experience.
okay. So you don't have any idea about SAP, you mean, right?
No.
Okay. So what about other two? Can you please confirm?
Oh, yes, I do have experience in SAP, but not this
Okay.
module. I have experience in SD and ML.
Yeah, I mean, other module you have experience, right, in SAP?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Okay, fine. Let us take it further. Okay, so those who are not speaking, please be on mute so that we will do this. So my screen is visible, Excel sheet, which I have shared, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so today is day one. We are going to discuss, SAP overview and SAP, org structure. This is a basic agenda of today's discussion, and we will see how effectively we can complete these two sessions. Okay, if you are having any doubt or if you need further clarification, you can stop me at any time and we can, discuss on that. So it is very important from your point of view, to get a clarification, whatever we are going to discuss. Okay, so now coming to SAP overview, what is exactly SAP? Those who are not having any idea. So SAP is one of the ERP tool. Okay, everybody knows that, or maybe we'll get try to understand how this ERP tool is going to differentiate from other existing ERP tools in the market. Okay, so SAP is one of the leading ERP software, currently available in the market. So ERP means enterprise resource planning. So what is enterprise resource planning means? Whatever available resources you do have within your organization. Okay, so whatever available resources you do have within your organization, you are going to utilize them properly and organized, in a well manner. Okay, so in that we do have a couple of softwares like ERPs. In ERP, SAP is one of the tool, and Oracle also is there, and other softwares as well. Why SAP is more familiar among any other ERP software? Because it is the first point is integration. It is an integrated software. When we say integrated, it is having interaction with other departments. Okay, so open communication it is having, and everybody can able to see, going to other department what is the data available in the system. So let us take as an example how it is going to be, how it is, the communication is happening between the department. When you take an organization, we do have different departments. One is finance department, procurement department, and sales department, production department, HR, other departments. So there may be, other departments which are part of your organization. So what basically finance department responsibility is, it is related to payables and receivables. So finance department has to take care about payables to the supplier and receivable from the customer. And procurement department responsibility is purchasing. In a simple word, we can say that purchasing materials. So sales department selling materials to the customer, and production is doing production, and HR running payroll related. Okay, other departments we can say plant maintenance is there, and project system, other departments which are part of that. So now coming to the finance department, how finance department will do payment to the supplier. Okay, so ideally if you want to start any production, when you are going to start any production, what we need raw materials. Say for example, if we are going to manufacturing a car, it is our final finished product. So to do manufacturing of this car, so whatever components we required, so those are raw materials. So we can say iron is one of the raw material, and rubber, okay, and bolts and nuts. So, let us take these three as an example. So, to complete one final car manufacturing, we need these components. So, how production department is going to get these components from the procurement team? So, initially, when the demand or requirement is coming from the production department to, purchase department. So, purchase department will do procurement. So after procuring the materials, then purchase department will send materials to the production team. So production will start manufacturing of the final product. After completing production from the production department, what they will do? They will send to the sales stores department. Okay. First step is production team is going to send requirement to the purchasing team. Purchasing department is procuring the material which are required to complete one final FG. After that, they will start production. Once they complete the final product, they will contact sales department. What sales team will do? They will do sales. After completing sales, then finance team will come into the picture. Here, after completing the sales, finance team is going to collect amount from the customer. Here, after completing procurement from the supplier, finance team is paying to that supplier. So how finance team is knowing that, okay, what are the materials we procured from the supplier? Okay, so here without contacting finance department to procurement department or purchase department, they can go into the system and they can see, okay, today what are the purchase orders raised by purchasing team, so what are the invoices created by sales team. Okay, so without contacting physically or by sending an email, they can log into the system and they can identify what are the open items, what are the dues that they have to collect from the customer, and what are the dues that they have to pay to the supplier. Okay, so I mean to say, without interacting finance team to any of the department, they can go into the system, they can log in and they can see the complete visibility of payables and receivables. According to that, they are going to do payment and receipt. Okay, so in this case, it is integrated. So every department is having link, and whatever transactions we are going to perform in the system, it is having a communication in a chain manner. Okay, so from data production to purchase it is going, from purchase again it is going to production, again production is contacting to the sales team. After completing the sales, again, team is following up to the collection team, whoever is there, they are going to follow with the customer. So this entire communication is happening by integrating. Okay, whatever transactions we are posting, it is automatically integrated. When purchase team is creating a purchase order and they receive the material, that is goods receipt. After receiving goods, then again they have to post invoice. Okay, this is vendor invoice. Once they complete this vendor invoice, then finance team has to pay to that specific supplier. So every transaction, whatever it is posted in the system from different departments, it is clearly visible to other departments, whoever is having access to see that. It is not, every person can see that. There are some restrictions, every department is having. Say for example, couple of sales revenue, other accountant should not be visible to the data. Okay, again, it depends on the access or authority to see the data. So based on that, it is having integrated with all the departments, and you know uh, whatever information required from the finance side or from the purchase side, maybe sales side, so it is available. Say for example, finance team is not paying any amount to the supplier, so, and supplier is saying that no, I will not send any goods to you because I your finance team did not clear my outstanding. So purchase team can go and contact finance team saying that, hey, why you did not pay to that supplier, because he is insisting us to send the material. Then you will contact that by seeing in the system. Okay, so that visibility is available. So in that case, it is completely integrated. So clear on this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So even other ERP softwares also having integration, but when it comes to the feasibility, like accessibility from the user point of view, when you are using SAP system, say for example, you may be, if you want to purchase any mobile, so one mobile is having accessibility to the user, friendly. So that is going to be popular in the market. So similar to that, SAP is one of the easiest integration software which can be accessible very easily, and even reporting point of also we can see whatever report required from the departments. When it comes to finance department, purchase register, sales register, customer raising, vendor raising, these all are the reports required. So those all are available in standard SAP, and even couple of reports which are not available in the system, so we can do customize based on the requirement of the customer. Okay, so now coming to the modules. So what are the modules that we do have in SAP? We have functional modules are divided into two categories: functional modules and technical modules. So functional modules means, which is not required any coding knowledge. Okay, so here finance, FICO we can consider is one of the module. Sales and distribution, material management, production planning, project system, plant maintenance, HR. Like this, we do have n number of modules. Many modules are available. Okay, so all modules which are not required any coding language, we will call them as a functional modules. Technical modules which required some coding language and understanding the background of the some technicality, like you have to know hardware, how it is going to function, what is Java language, C language, so that is required. So we will call as ABAP, and basis is also one of the technical module we can consider, and these are the functional modules. Okay, so functional modules where any coding is not required, we can just understand the business process and we can configure the system according to the requirement. Technical modules will going to work, when there is any like cash payment voucher printing. So in SAP we have standard format, but as per the business requirement, we have to print the company logo on that, and there may be some signatures created by received by different signatures are available. So in that case we will take help from the ABAP team. So he is also one of the team where they are working on the development side technically. Basis team is who is setting up the system initially. When we are going to uh, start the implementation project, first basis team is going to build the system and they are going to set up the system ready to process further from the technical side and functional side both. Okay, so first priority is basis team who is going to set up the system, and after that functional team is going to do the configuration of the system. Then later ABAP team is coming into the picture where standard functionality is not working or report is not working based on the business need. Okay, then we are going to develop by contacting with the ABAPer, because we are giving the requirement, what is the input of that report, what is the output of that report. So that we will see later. Anyway, this is just basic understanding of the SAP and the modules. Okay, and coming to implementations. So what exactly implementation? This is one of the project we can consider. When it comes to the projects, we have implementation project, we have support project, we have migration, and we have rollout and enhancements. Okay, so these are the projects available. Ideally, when you are working on SAP, they will ask you which project you worked, whether it is implementation project, support project, migration, rollout, and enhancement. So, what is the difference? Between all, we will try to understand. So, implementation project is where we are using SAP from the beginning. I mean to say, let us take one TCS, Tata Consulting Services. So they are using Oracle software currently, and if they want to use SAP going further, okay. So at present they are using other than SAP system. So whatever projects we are going to work, so earlier they are not using SAP. Okay, so we are going to implement SAP from the beginning. Okay, so TCS is decided to implement SAP. At present, they are using Oracle software. From Oracle to SAP, they are switching. So in this case, it is an implementation project. It is greenfield implementation. We will call it as a greenfield implementation, where we are starting from the beginning. So we are understanding their business requirement and we are configuring the business requirement based on their need and switching from Oracle to SAP. So whatever system they are using before implementation of SAP or before using SAP, so the old system we will call it as a legacy system. It may be Oracle software or Microsoft Edwards or Tally system, whatever software they are using before switching to SAP, we will call that system as a legacy system. So in this case, we are starting the implementation from the beginning and going to use SAP further. So that is implementation project. They are not using SAP software. They are adopting. We are adopting SAP for them to meet their business requirements. So in that case, it is implementation project, fresh implementation project. And support means like they are already using SAP and they are getting some issues. In that case, we are supporting to that project. So it is a support project. When they are using SAP software, there may be some issues on daily basis. When you are getting and you are supporting on that, it is a support project, we will call that. Migration project means, okay, where you are using the old versions, old SAP version. We do have different versions in SAP that we will see when we are swifting or switching from one SAP system to another. Like example, if we are using ECC and migrating to S4 HANA, so which we will call it as a migration system, okay, migration project from old version to new version, like Apple, from old to new, when you are switching, that is called a migration project. So rollout project means you are already using SAP and they expanded their business in another country or another city. Okay, in that case, we are using the new functionality to that. Say for example, if we have operations in India and USA, we do have two operations. They are already using SAP and they are going to use they are expanding their business in another country. Okay, so in this case, they are already into SAP but they are expanding their business into another country. So in this case, we are doing the implementation for that new country. So these projects, we will call it as a rollout. Okay, that is one of the example. Or in India, you do have in different locations, like Hyderabad, you have one office, and Bangalore, you have another office where you are installing or expanding your business in another city within the country. If you are expanding your business in another city where they want to use SAP software, then that is also a rollout project. I mean to say, expanding your business, and to that business you are using SAP, so that we will call it as rollout projects. Okay. Enhancements, this is also similar to the migration kind of thing, where they are using additional functionality. Okay, and swifting further, like earlier you are not using document splitting functionality in SAP. I'm giving one of the example. Document splitting is one of the functionality in SAP FICO. So that functionality they are not using, but they want to use this, and that is one of the enhancement. And there are couple of enhancement projects which are related to screen enhancement and process related enhancement wise also. Okay, so that we will call as enhancement projects. So these are the projects which SAP is having: implementation, support, migration, rollout, and enhancement. So any doubt on this? Any clarification required or any questions? Okay.
None from my side.
So coming to versions, so what is the version? Ideally, when you are saying that I am working on SAP, they will ask you which version you are working, whether it is ECC or S4 HANA. In S4 HANA itself, we do have different versions. Okay, so ECC 6.0 and enhancement package 8. So when we say enhancement package, to the existing functionality, enhancement means to the existing functionality. If you are adding any new functionality, ideally that we will call it as enhancement in a simple term. Okay, when SAP started, they start with old versions, and the latest version in ECC is 6.0 and enhancement package 8, and they have migrated from ECC to S4 HANA. So what is the major difference between these two from the business you know uh, process point of view? So in ECC, we don't have accessibility, the mobile applications. So I mean to say in S4HANA, in S4HANA, when we are using S4HANA, you can do operations by mobile app. Okay, like we do have WhatsApp app and other Amazon apps like that. Similar to that, even SAP is having apps to specific transaction codes. Say for example, from the finance team, there is a accountant and there is a manager and there is a senior manager. When it comes to payment approval. So in ECC system, okay, when accountant is posting a bank payment related transaction, he is not having authority after up to some amount he is having access. Maybe after 1 lakh, whatever transaction this accountant is going to post, he cannot do that. So it will go to the manager, to his manager or her manager for the approval. After that, again it will go to another person to get it approved. So when we are using ECC, if accountant is posted one transaction, if manager, he has to approve that one. In that case, he has to log into the system and approve that. Maybe he is traveling that time. Okay, it is very important for that, transaction to release, but he could not able to do that because he is traveling and he is not, available to log into the system or access to the system. That is having drawback in ECC. Whereas in S4HANA, no need to open any laptop, any system. So he can just access app from the mobile and he can do approve directly without logging to the system. So that functionality we do have in S4. So again, when there is any approval, related transaction we do have in SAP. In ECC, earlier versions, after posting transaction from accountant, okay, it will trigger an email or approval matrix to the manager. So in ECC, until this manager is logged into the system and approving, it will not go to the next level. Whereas in S4 HANA system, there is no need of login to the SAP. Okay, we do have approval app. Okay, approval app, if that app is available in his mobile, okay, he can log into that app and he can give approval. Okay, so that is very flexibility we do have in S4HANA, one of the major advantage from the business point of view. And the other example or advantage is when we are having data extraction. Okay, in ECC, if manager is asking to the accountant or any department manager is saying that, okay, can you please give me purchase register from last 1 month or 2 months or 1 year. Okay, so they have to execute that report. When the accountant is executing the report based on the manager's command, okay, the performance of the output when he is giving input, like when the accountant want to execute the report, he has to give the vendor from whom they have done the procurement, and he has to give the date range and what is the company code, what type of procurements they have done. Okay, I'm giving an example. When he is giving that input in the screen and executing that, it is going to take time. If the data volume is more, it is having huge data. Okay, it may take 1 hour or 2 hour or maybe half an hour. It depends on the volume of the transaction. Okay, so whenever there is a very urgency of the report, it is getting very difficult from the ECC side. Whereas in S4 HANA, it is fraction of seconds they can get a report. I can say if the report time is taking 1 hour in ECC, whereas in S4 HANA it is taking 2 minutes, even 10 seconds also. Sometimes it is going to take very less time than that. Okay, so that is one of the advantages that we do have in S4 HANA. What is the reason that SAP S4 HANA is having more flexibility in terms of report execution? Because it depends on the data storage. Okay, so here What is the database they are using in ECC? Oracle. So in ECC earlier, they are using Oracle database. In S4 HANA, they are using HANA database. So this HANA database is belongs to SAP only. SAP itself has using their own database. Earlier, SAP is depending on Oracle database and performing their all business transactions, and that is having complexity, and they they got a lot of complaints regarding the data execution speed, and when it is having interaction with other system. So sometimes this Oracle database will not support, and sometimes it will support. So it is having a lot of complexity. So later SAP has decided we can't we use our own database instead of depending on other database. In that case, so they have decided, and they are using their own HANA database. So HANA means high performance analytical appliances. Okay. So this is SAP's. The HANA database, whatever it is there, it is their own database. So you know that is the reason it is giving very less time to get the output, and that is one of the advantage from the business point of view. And here Fiori applications is not available, apps I can say not available, whereas in HANA Fiori applications are available. Fiori application means like apps. Okay, we have WhatsApp and Amazon app where you can log in your mobile and do that transaction. Similar to that, in S4HANA we do have different apps that we will see how we are going to perform those transactions. Okay, so these are the major advantages from the business side, and other advantage from the other perspective, like earlier when we are posting one transaction, if you are posting any invoice or if you are posting any payment transactions, the data is storing in multiple tables. Whereas in S4 HANA, okay, they reduced number of tables. So they have brought into one universal table, that is AC Docker. Okay, it depends on how you are going to pronounce AC Docker or AC Docker. So this table we will call it as universal table. Universal table. So what is universal table means? When we are doing any procurement related transactions or any sales related transactions in ECC, it is going to update in different tables, one or two, three, four different tables it is going to update. And if we want to develop a purchase register, then we have to find out all the tables which have been updated in the database, and we need to communicate with ABAP. Okay, whereas in S4 HANA, AC Docker is one of the major table. Majority of the transaction data is updating here. So in this table, you can see purchase order number, you can see goods receipt number, you can see vendor number, everything. So 90% of data is available in this single table, AC Docker. So in this table, whatever transaction it is related to integration, like procurement to pay related transaction, sales to finance related transaction, it is updating in one single table, that is universal table, AC Docker we will call it as. And when it is going to develop a new report, we can give this table, and there may be additional one or two tables, that's it. But whereas in ECC we need to find out all tables related to database, and we need to give the logic, and it is going to be hectic kind of thing from the developer side. Whereas in S4 it is very easy for them to develop a report. Even functional consultant, finance, or sales and material management consultants, they can do table lookup. Like if your data is having in two different tables, it is easy for them to do table join. Okay, no need to write any coding language. Okay, where the requirement data is available in two different tables, so we can merge those two tables and we can get the output based on the business requirement. Without technical consultant help, functional consultants can develop a report by doing some table join or query. Okay, query related things. So that is easy in S4 HANA. And Coming to other thing, currencies. Whereas in S4 ECC, we have only 3 currencies. Maximum we can use 3 currencies. Whereas in S4 HANA, up to 10 currencies we can assign to a single company code. Okay. So in ECC, they can use 3 currencies. What are those 3 currencies? Company code currency. Company code currency means this is legal currency, and group currency, I mean to say controlling area currency, which is controlling area currency, and hard currency, other currency we can say. Whereas in S4 HANA, we can use up to 10 currencies, 8 plus 2. So why we will call 8? In that 8, one is company code currency, another one is group currency. Remaining 8 are 8 freely defined currencies. Okay, so total 10 currencies we can use in S4 HANA, whereas in ECC we can use only 3 currencies. And the currency field length. So currency field length means when we are entering the transaction, like when you are performing like 10,000, 5,000, like this one. Okay, so here the limit it is 18. I mean to say, if you want to post any cash related transactions. Okay, so we need to enter some amount, right? Like 10,000 USD or INR, whatever currency you are entering. Okay, so here we do have a restrictions, earlier in ECC system, where majority of the companies or clients are complaining that it is not giving enough field of the currency whatever we are looking. Just give me a minute, please. I'm getting on call. Okay, sorry. Okay, so that is one of the thing. Up to 23 we can say digits we can use. So in ECC we have limitation to the currency field, whereas in S4 HANA it is having increased. Okay, that is one of the thing. And coming to the material length,
You said it is 18, the currency field length. Is it
yeah,
13 or
18, sorry.
okay, okay, sorry.
Okay, so material length, material code, I mean to say material code. So this is earlier 10 in ECC. Okay, and whereas in S4 it has been increased to 40, I think. And the ledgers, okay, in ECC we have major 2 ledgers. One is leading and non-leading ledgers. Whereas in S4 HANA we have leading, non-leading, extended ledger, uh, predictive ledger, predictive ledger. So these are the 4 ledgers available in S4 HANA, whereas in ECC we do have 2 ledgers. So what is the difference between leading ledger and non-leading ledger? So when your company is performing day-to-day business transactions, okay, so whatever transactions we are performing, and it is by default assigning or posting to your leading ledger. Okay, so other than leading ledger, if company is having another reporting requirement, then we will assign non-leading ledger. Say for example, India company is following April to March fiscal year. Okay, and it is having head office in USA. So USA is following Jan to December fiscal year. Okay, so in this case, USA requested India office to submit their financial statement, Jan to December, even though they are following April to March financial year, but still the head office is in USA, so they are requesting them to generate or submit financial statement between Jan to December. So this is possible when we are assigning non-leading ledger. So whatever business transactions are financial year they are following, that is leading ledger. Other than the financial reporting, any other reporting requirement we do have, maybe at a group level or other level, then we are going to use non-leading ledger. So that case we will use this non-leading ledger. So in this case, when we post any transaction in India company code, there are two ledgers. There are two ledgers where it is going to post automatically. No need to give specifically leading or non-leading. When any transaction, it may be procurement related transaction, sales related transaction, by default, system is going to update transaction in these two ledgers. Okay. So in this case, they can get financial statement in April to March as well as Jan to December. Now coming to S4 HANA. In S4 HANA, leading ledger, non-leading ledger, these two are available. Other than that, we do have external ledger. Okay, so what is this external ledger? So there is a difference. I mean, the functionality of non-leading ledger and extended ledger. The functionality of non-leading ledger and extended ledger both are same. Only the thing is database update. In non-leading ledger, whatever transaction you are posting, it is updating in the database, whereas in external ledger, it is not updating in database. Okay, the data is not updating in database in external ledger when we are going to use, whereas non-leading ledger, the database, it is going to update. So when the data is not updating in your database, then you do have a space to utilize that for any other purpose. Okay, that is one of the difference between non-leading and extended ledger. The functionality is same. The only difference we do have is the database update. Okay, we will see more when we are going to see in the system further. And predictive ledger. So this ledger, there are a couple of transactions where SAP S4 HANA, in S4 HANA, they are recommended to use accounting based COPA. So we do have two COPA dimensions. One is accounting based COPA and costing based COPA. So when we are using accounting based COPA, when we create sales order, so that sales order information has to go to your profitability analysis. Okay, so whatever sales information which is going to profitability analysis, that is through predictive ledger. So for that purpose, we are going to use predictive ledger. So leading ledger, any business transactions which we are going to post and using for our regular, financial statement reporting, we will use leading. Other than that, if there is any reporting requirement other than local GAAP or IFRS we have, then we will use non-leading ledger. And even we can use extended ledger also. The difference here is database, it is not updating, and whereas non-leading ledger, it is updating in the database. Okay, and we can do ledger specific transactions also without impacting my leading ledger. I can do transactions in non-leading ledger and extended ledger as well. Okay, so that also possible. And whereas predictive ledger in S4 HANA, they are suggesting, I mean, SAP suggested to use accounting based COPA. So in case of accounting based COPA, we have to know the profitability. So we have created sales order and we don't know what is the future income that we are going to get from the customer. So that information we can see when we are going to use predictive ledger. So that is the major difference, between all. Okay, and the other from the master data perspective, we do have GL master, and we do have vendor, customer, and bank master, asset master. So these are the master data which is available from the finance side. Earlier, when we are creating the GL master data, we do have some segregation related to account groups. Okay, let me show you that, you will get idea. Okay, here you can see, system. You have to log into that. This is login notepad. We will call it as SAP GUI graphical user. Here you can see the logon pad, and you have to click on this. Okay, you need to change the client and user ID, and you have to enter the password. It is similar to your Gmail and whatever you are using. So we do have, every person is having one user ID and password. We have to enter that. And client, so client indicates, in which system we are going to use whatever transactions we are going to record. So it is recording in this client. Okay. Okay, before that, let me tell you one thing regarding to the systems. We do have three systems. So one is development system, quality system, we will call it as QAS, and we will call it DEV, development, QS, and PRD. So there are three systems available. Okay, so this is called as R by 3, three-time, real-time architecture, three servers are available. One is development system, quality system, and production system. So development system, we will do configuration, and who is accessible, consultants. And here we will do testing. Whatever configuration we have done, we use to do testing here. And here it is day-to-day business transactions. So we use for day-to-day business transactions this production system. So initially, consultant is going to do configuration in the development system, and whatever transactions they are going to do, it is recording in one transport request. We will call it as a transport request. So that transport request we move to the quality system. Okay, instead of repeating all the activities whatever we perform in the development system, everything is going to record in one transport request, and that is moving to the quality system. Okay, after that we will do testing. Once consultant done testing, then they will inform to the business users to perform testing from their end. So after testing confirmation from the business side, they will give green signal saying that yes, you can go ahead. Okay, and after that we will release this system for their day-to-day business transactions. It is similar to like when any medical industry wants to develop any new drug into the market. First they will do R&D, and after that they will do testing. Once testing is completed, then they will release into the market. Similar to that, here consultants are going to do the configuration. So what is configuration means? First we are going to set up meeting with the business, and we are gathering the requirement from them. So whatever requirement we received, based on that, do the configuration and move changes to the quality system, do testing. Once consultant are confident on the testing, then they will inform to the business users who are going to use in the system later, and they will say green signal, yes, you can go ahead and move the changes. Then we will move the changes to the production system, and thereafter they will do day-to-day business transactions. So here consultants are not having access, complete access, because here business users, its customer is customer is having full access. They are doing their day-to-day business transactions. Consultant is not having any authority to access this system until when there is an issue. only consultant cannot post any transaction. Consultant cannot do any changes in this production system. Only display access he is having. Whereas business users, they can post the transaction. They cannot do the configuration. Okay. Here, consultant and customer both are having access. Only testing. They will do testing. So development system, only consultant is having access. Customer is not having any authority to log into the system. They don't know what is development system. Only consultant will do in the back end configuration and move to the quality. Then consultant will do testing and inform to the customer. Once confirmation received from the customer, then the changes are moved to quality system. So in this case, they will do day-to-day business transactions, and consultant are not having any authority to access their data. So when the transport request is moving from one system to another system, who is doing this activity? Okay, so this is either functional consultant can do from development to quality, from quality to production, basis team is going to do that. Okay, so in couple of clients or customers, even functional consultant are having access to move the changes to production system. And it depends on the customer whom you are dealing with. If it is small customer, then a functional consultant itself is having authority to move the changes from quality to production, whereas in big client or big customer, consultant is not having any access to move the changes to PRD. And basis team is taking care of all the transport requests. So it is like, in this case, we do have different clients. Here we can see it is 100 client, and it is 200 client, it is 900 client. Okay, so client represents what is the system you are going to use. In this development, you can have two different clients, multiple clients also you can have. Okay, so whatever configuration you are going to do in 100, it is pertaining to that specific client. Okay, and if you want to do testing before moving to the quality system, you are not sure whether this is going to work or not, you can move within the system from 100 to 110 and you can do the testing. Okay, majority of the systems are having this way configuration. Like, it is this client, we will call it as a golden client. Golden client means where we are doing configuration and not testing, only configuration, no testing here. And here we are performing testing, here no configuration. Okay, so first we do configuration in 100 and move to 110 and do the testing. And once it is confirmed, then we will move to the quality. And after completing testing in the quality system, then we can move to the production system. So this way it is having, so this we will call it as a client, golden client, configuration client or golden client, we will call it as. And here testing client, development testing client, we will call it as. When it comes to quality, we will call it quality testing client. So we have 100 for this, 200 for this, 900 for development. It is not fixed. Basically basis team is going to decide what is the client number they have to use. So they can use 100 for development and 200 for quality and 300 for PRD, or they can use same number also. There is no restrictions for that, because all are different systems. But ideally, for differentiation purpose, we are going to use different client code: 100, 300, 900. So when you log into the system, so by default it is taking whatever client is there, or if you want to change, like by default 100 it will give. And if you want to log into the 110 client where you want to do testing, you can change this. Okay, that flexibility we do have. And here you have to give the username and password, and this is the language, in which language you are going to log in, and click on enter. Okay, so this screen we will call it as SAP GUI screen, graphical user interface. And here you can see SAP menu. In this menu, we will see only accounting. So this accounting is related to FICO. When you expand this one, you have to click on this one. Okay, when you click on this, it is going to expand. Again you can click on this, it is going to expand, like this one. So you can click on this, it is going to expand up to the maximum. So from SAP menu, you are clicking on accounting. From accounting, it is going to financial accounting, general ledger, and document entry. And here we have application. This is a transaction code. We will call it as a transaction. Here, if you see, enter GL account document. So when you want to post any voucher entry in the system, you need to double click on this one. Okay, double click on this. It will ask you the company code, and you have to select from the drop down and select any one and enter. So then it will give you the screen. You can see enter GL account document company code. So this is the screen where you are going to enter the business transactions like invoices. Okay, so this we will call it as menu. Okay, here you will enter the transactions, and these are, you have to be familiar with these you know tools whatever are available here. So in this you are going to, and here if you want to go back, you have to click on /n. You can come again to this screen. So here we do have edit, favorite, extras, other, and menu option here if you have, and user menu, SAP menu. User menu, when you click on this one, okay, so whatever roles it has been assigned to that specific user ID, it will give you that. And when you click on SAP menu, it will give you other menu as well, SAP menu. And these are the favorites. Favorites means, you can include your day-to-day transactions. Say for example, you are an accountant and you are doing daily cash payment transactions, so you can create your own favorite and you can insert those specific transactions. Okay, so when you are going to expand this, there are specific transaction codes. You can right click here, just click on right click. You can see user menu, SAP menu, settings, start transaction, or you can go here, the same you can see SAP menu, user menu, and other. You can go one by one and you can see all the settings. So when you go to settings, if you carefully observe here, you can see the image. If you don't want this image, you can see do not display picture, so this you cannot see. And display technical names. Okay, in SAP we do have some technical names to access directly to this application. And here if you see do not display menu, if you click on this one, only favorites you can see, you cannot see this menu, and only display favorites at end. If you select this, now favorites are showing at beginning, and when you select this, these favorites will show after SAP menu. Click on that. Okay, you can see here favorites came in the last. And when you expand this, you can observe one thing, the technical name. Here you can see FB50. Earlier we did not see these technical names. These technical names we will call it as a transaction code. Okay, so when you want to enter any GL account, you have to go to this SAP financial accounting, general ledger, and document entry, and you need to double click on this. Instead of going to that, you can straight away remember the transaction code, this one FB50, and you can enter here FB50. This we will call it as a transaction code. Okay, that you will enter here and click on enter. Then it will go to directly to that application. So this transaction code will take you into that specific application directly without going to all the nodes. Okay, these are the node. So no need to go to every node. If you remember couple of transactions, you can enter. If you don't have any idea, then what you can do, you can create your own favorites. How you will do? Go to extras, favorites. Here you can see add. Okay. So first you have to create insert folder. So in another 5 minutes we will close, just to let us create these favorites. So SAP training, I am creating one folder. Click on folder. You can see folder is created. When you expand, nothing is there. And if you want to add any specific transaction code from here, just drag and drop. You can drag and drop the transaction code from there to here. You can see transaction code is added in your favorites. And if you know the transaction code, you can right click on this and you can see insert transaction. So here you will enter FB70. You can see enter outgoing invoices. So you can add your own favorites. So instead of going all these things, we can add specific favorite transactions. Okay, then you will double click on this one. It will take you into that screen. You can see customer invoice, and when you go back, okay, so when you drag and drop the transaction code from here, it is it is not disappearing from here. Whatever transaction codes are available in SAP menu, you cannot delete any transaction code here. You cannot delete. These are standard provided by SAP. Whereas from favorites you can delete whatever transaction codes you have added in your favorites list. You can delete. You can select this, click on right click. You can do delete favorite. So when you click on delete favorite, this FB50, it will go from here. But whereas from here, you cannot delete any transaction code from SAP menu. Okay, so that is one of the thing. And here we do have for each and every application like GLs related transaction, we are going to use all. Whereas we are not using SAP menu, we are using SAP Fiori application. But before going to that, we need to have some idea how SAP menu is going to be. And in SAP S4HANA, as we discussed earlier, Fiori is one of the application. Here you can see SAP Fiori, login pad. So when you click on this, it will open one application. Browser, we can say that. So this is one of the browser where it will give you the field, and you have to log in the same credentials which have been provided. Enter. Okay, so basically to work this query, your internet speed should be very high, otherwise it will uh, it will be loading very slow. Okay, so this is Fiori application, we will call it as. Okay, so here we do have different, so these are the tiles. So this one we will call it as a tile, and this one we will call it as a tile group. Okay, so here also we are having SAP menu. If you click on this, you can see settings as well. So whatever settings we have seen in SAP menu here, settings, so here also we can see the same settings. Okay, like if you see report for Egypt, reporting for India, so these are the tile groups, and this is the tile which is available. And if you want to see specific you can change the theme of this one in the back end, and you can do whatever way you want. If you click on these settings, and you can see how it is going to be appearance, which color you want to see. So there are different themes which are available. If you can select these, or even light, this also you can select. And home page, how you want to see, show all content. Here you can see all content, or show one group at a time. Okay, I'm selecting that. We will see the difference how it is going to be. And here you can see logon details and default values. So there are a couple of arg units where you can default, like company code, controlling area, purchasing organization, other details, so that you can default here. And click on save. Now you can see all tiles are not showing. Related to this group, only tiles are showing. Earlier we can see other tiles also down. Okay, here you cannot see. So this is the Fiori application. You should have access to this to perform all the transactions. And these are the tile groups where we are going to perform all our day-to-day business transactions once we complete the configuration. Okay, so this we will call it as SAP menu access, and this is Fiori application access. And here we have different things. You can explore more on this one, and you can do this as well. So any clarifications or any doubts? So we are going to end the session today, and tomorrow we can start the remaining. Okay, so any doubts or any clarification? Hello?
No doubts.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Then we will meet tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
As part of training, we do provide training videos, PPTs, SAP S4HANA server access for 3 months, certification materials, SAP Pressbooks, assessments which helps for the certification, training materials, interview questions and answers, sample resumes. Thanks for watching demo.